Sanmonani, Dumelang Molweni, Shap Kunjani, Leyo. It's us again. This is my views, my expressions. If this is your first time here, please do subscribe, share, and tell others that we are here. And Zikpatele Okungapatwa Baning. And today we are here to talk about the MTN 8 Wafa final between Orlando Pirates and Stellenbosch. It's basically the repeat of last year. Is this the time where Stellenbosch is going to do the revenge over the Pirates? I don't know. But what I know is, my name is Siboni Sosizo Wakomnikati Spongo, and I'm not alone. I've got a Cyprus Sandawana. How's it?
Ngiyapila mfethu ngezakwenza.
Mboko le ushamna namhlanje black and white Buccaneer representative.
Yeah, we are respecting the MTN 8 and we are respecting the defending champions.
Got that. Listen, let's go forward. We've got it's MTN 8. It's an amazing cup. Tickets were sold out within a day. It's in Mbombela. Mbombela is buzzing as we speak right now. Nail sprays. Everyone is talking about this game that is taking place on Saturday. MTN 8 final. Going to the game. How are you feeling? What is happening?
It's a big one, eh?
Yeah.
It's a big one, but I would have loved to see at least one league matches before the final. But we are coming from the international break where most of Orlando Pirates players were heavily involved in their national teams, and some of them who had maybe some doubts about their form this season really resurrected themselves in the international breaks. Talking about a player like Dion Hoto, talking about a player like Sipho Mbule, not so much about Sebelebele, but very much about Osino Polis, not so much about William Fukeng. Tito was dropped because I think he had an injury, but he recently was seen in pictures of Orlando Pirates training in Ren Stadium. Not so much about Sipo Chain because Williams was there, and then not so much about Dion van Rooyen. So I think there will be Sebelebele there, who I think is trying to gain confidence in that right hand side, both offensively and defensively. So very, very big expectations from Mbegezile Mbokazi coming from the big international break, which I believe was a breakthrough for him, giving the headache to both the under 20 coach, Mr. Mtaga, and Hugo Bruce, because we have AFCON. I mean, we have the World Cup for both divisions, the under 20 and the open, yeah, and the senior team. In the senior team, there's quite a lot of injuries and inconsistency in the centre back situation, where players like Roshin Dotli, Grant Kekana, Mutsobi Mvala, you name them, are either on and off injuries, deep in form, struggling to recover to the first 11. Going to the under 20, there's quite a lot of talent there in the centre back. Talk about this boy from Stellenbosch, Smith, who has gone to QPR in the English Championship, and he's been welcomed there. And then you have a player like Siviwe Nkwali from Stellenbosch, who was just recently signed from Cape Town Spurs. You have players like Aseko Tiwane, who can play both as a left back and a left centre back. So there's quite a lot about these players. And then at Stellenbosch, we had a player like Thabo Maloisane, who I believe he was hoping to have a good international break, but unfortunately he sustained an injury. But I was happy to see him, or at least on the bench, when we played against Nigeria on Tuesday.
Yeah. But then now one would then ask, you say you wish there was at least a PSL game before this final, because Orlando Pirates players were heavily involved in Bafana and other international duties. Yeah. So now, is that an excuse going to this final? Are you saying they are fatigued, What is really is it that you're trying to say?
No, it's not really an excuse. I mean, a final is a big game, you know. So I'm not undermining the league matches, but I believe we would see if players at least have some time to reintegrate to the club football before they go into a final, and those who were on and off like Abosi Pombule at least get an opportunity to play the league before the final, and then players like Abo Masonganyi who was also on and off, maybe if he can get one league match before the final, you know, all those things. Tabo, for example, Tabo Maloisan, who had an injury and was not played against Nigeria, would like to see him before the final playing a league match. It's still early in the league, there isn't so much pressure. So my argument is based on those factors.
Okay, I see. Well, we go to this game. Pirates seems to be seem to have an upper hand as far as the performance is concerned, both on the cup competitions and on the league, and also the fact that you're mentioning, Uguti, the players were heavily involved on the national duties. That means that the spirit is high, the players are highly motivated coming to this cup. Is this the time where we are going to see Coach Wadu lifting a cup within less than 10 games?
Yeah, but before we talk about the coach, we hear that he was involved in an accident together with some few of his staff, and we were happy to see him just recently this week going back to training, although I think he's still recovering on his left hand. I think maybe, I don't know if he had a fracture or he was broken or something, but at least he can still go to work. There's not so much disruptions. We're just happy for that. And the other guys, I think about Tapero Kog, if I'm not mistaken, were also in the accident. Speedy recovery to all those guys that were involved in that accident. So going to who,
maybe the trophy should be something that will calm him and then, you know, mesmerize him after such a tragedy.
Yeah, it would be good for him, but it's a different ball game. We have a 90 minutes final against I think heavily wounded Stellenbosch, because there were a lot of talks following their final down in Durban last year, and although I think a lot of players from Stellenbosch has since left who had a first-hand feel of that game, but the coach is still there, the technical staff is still there, and quite a few of the players who were there are still there. Yeah. So going back to Coach Wadu, football is I don't know. It's the most beautiful thing in the world, because 1 minute people are going this side, the second minute people are going this side. Just 2 games into Orlando Pirates season, Orlando Pirates people were calling for his head, and opposition people, Chiefs, Sundowns people, and the likes were praising him. And then he went to the same final against Sundowns. He went through a nail hole there, very sneaky win there through penalties. And then he had quite a few wins in the league. He's recovered, and now Paris people
3 to be precise.
Yeah. And now it's a different story. He could win the MTN now. People are going to forget about all the things they were saying in the first 2 games. So as I'm saying, football is the most beautiful thing in the world.
There are coaches who've been in South Africa and PSL for years that have never lifted a cup. So Wadu, in a space of 2 months with Orlando Pirates, I forget his stint with Marumo Gallants, but with Orlando Pirates, 2 months' time, there's a possibility for him to lift a cup.
Yeah, we are Mutuba. It's a matter of timing. It's a matter of time where you find yourself and when. He finds himself at Orlando Pirates, a team with high confidence in this tournament, and a team that believes that they own this tournament, and so he has a high probability of getting himself, of getting his hands on this trophy. Yeah, so it's a matter of ukuthi ubani ukuphi ngasikhathi sini.
Coach Steve Barker, you come to this cup, it's a final, probably something similar to the repeat of the last season, where you were heavily wounded maybe by the decisions of the referees and whatnot in Moses Mabhida. So what is on your mind coming to this final again in Bombela?
Hey, angiyazi inhliziyo le ndoda ukuthi njalo ilimele kakhulu le ndoda. Yeah, he's heavily hurt. Steve Barker has really suffered in SA football as a Stellenbosch coach. And it's a pity njengoba bengishilo nasekuqaleni ukuthi some of his soldiers have since left the camp. And he's trying and rebuild the team now with the introduction of some few players that he got. Bostanik at centre back, Omega Mdaga is now a regular at left back, and then they got MTN from Milford. Tato Kiva is now a regular, and then obvious Titus and De Jong and the Copidos there, and the return of Mojela and Sanele Pans. So it's quite a tricky one. I just hope he doesn't play in Intlizio. He just focus on his game and focus on Pirates' weaknesses and try and exploit those weaknesses to his favor. Because if he is to go there with Intlizio, with these guys, last season, he's gonna have a problem.
What are those weaknesses that you're talking about?
Orlando Pirates.
Yeah.
It's tough because it's a cup competition, but I think they are scoreable. They are scoreable. Talking about the side of Dion Hoto, who is very adventurous going forward. I think Sanele Pans there or Divine Titus operating on the wings can get something from the overlaps that Dion Hoto makes a lot of times. But he's since been given a beef up with the introduction of Mbogazi, who always leans on the left hand side to ensure that he closes that gap. So he needs to try and get timing around how and when to attack that side and ensure that he gets Mbogazi out of the way from his players. And then also on the side of Sibelebele, he can be a right back, but is very adventurous. It's more like Dion Hoto, and so they need to try and make sure that they exploit the spaces that those guys may create from those flanks. And also even here in the center back, it's just that they don't have a very big striker who can stay there and try and exploit Suguti. Pirates is in these past few weeks and past games, they've been relying more on CMI and Bogaz, a very new combination of very inexperienced players but very good players. So with that, they really need to try to get something out of that. They are very good, those centre backs, but we can't shy away from the fact that they are very inexperienced. So Steve Barker needs to try and plan around those guys and ensure that he gets the edge over them.
Let's talk about strikers as far as Orlando Pirates is concerned. So if you go to this game and you have these guys that are on flare or Apolis that we really going to see, but then now who are you saying is your target man? Because I look at the Orlando Pirates strikers, we haven't seen really much. Lapago Mabasa, Mahopa, there is also Mbotuma. So who are you playing as a coach? You are looking into this final. Who do you play in this game of such magnitude?
With Jose, Mahopa was the first choice. Mahopa is that type of striker like if you remember Roberto Firmino from Liverpool.
Yeah.
That type of a striker. He's a striker, but you don't see a very good stats on his goal scoring charts.
But even if he didn't score, but he had something to do with the goal, maybe with the hold up.
That's where I'm going. So
yeah.
With Wadu, he hasn't really shown so much confidence in either of his strikers. He's just circulating them. But going to get into this game, I think Makgopa with Pirates' style of play, and Makgopa still, I think is that type of a number 9 that they will need in order to make sure that their front line works perfectly, because Makgopa, his game has since grown. Is more mobile there around. He's making sure that the centre backs are not so comfortable, and makes them to, and he takes them out of their position with his hold up plays. And then players like Abo Opolis, who are very short and very good on the ball, can benefit from that, ensuring that they exploit the spaces in and around the box to ensure they create the advantage for Orlando Pirates. And inform Masongani, which we haven't seen in a long time. I'm not sure if they are going to be using him or Sipombule with his high confidence from Bafana Bafana. So I think Makgopa for me is an ideal striker for this final, because you need tried and tested soldiers.
Yeah, I don't want us to do the repetition of the players or the possible lineup, because we've already mentioned number of players that could possibly play. So based on their performance, even on Bafana, even on the side of the Stellies, Abo Barnes, De Jong, and Titus, and all those guys. So I just want us to then jump straight into who do you see winning this game?
You are pushing me into a corner now, eh?
There's no corner here. Go straight. What corner are you talking about?
It's going to be a good contest. It's going to be a good contest. I think Pirates still has a lot to learn about some of Stellenbosch players. Before I go to the conclusion, a player like Umtiane is very new and has since stamped his authority there in the middle of the park. I think he's got 1 or 2 Man of the Match awards already, coming in from the bench of Milford and stamping his authority at a team like Stellenbosch. So
hey, some Scasos are very good, man.
Yeah, Stellenbosch, they are very serious about football. They are very, very serious. So they still have to try and make sure they get a profile earlier player with the experience, talent, and Osihle there in the middle of the park. It's gonna be difficult for Stellenbosch to play around those guys, because Talente, I have been impressed with him in the past 3 games. His ball retention, his ball rotation, and his balls from to the sides of Urile is not so good these days. I'm not sure what is going on, but his ball that he plays around those guys to ensure that they create spaces are very good. Esihle with the dirty work, you won't see him on the screen, you won't see on the camera. He's ensuring that he protects his backline and ensuring that he's not so bad with the ball, but his primary job is to ensure that he protects the backline. So Stellenbosch has so very little experience this time around. And it would really be a surprise if I see them winning this game.
So you're giving it to Orlando Pirates?
Yeah, I give it to Orlando Pirates.
Your predicted score?
It could be a 1-0 or 2-1. 1-0 or 2-1. Their forwards are not so much confident. Rile, who was very hot last season, is struggling here and there, but it's an MTN final now. He knows the prize. He knows how important it is in the office. And Austin trying to integrate into Pirates team, doing very, very well in the national team. I think he's gonna try and give Pirates the edge there as well. So incane experience Stellenbosch, in fact incane kungabe surprise ukuthi sibabone bewina le ndebe, but we have 90 minutes to judge and give them a chance.
Well, that's just about it from Usipos. He says Orlando Pirates is lifting it for the 4th time because Stellies doesn't really have experience that is his views. We would also like to hear who is going to take it. Please leave your comment there by the comment sections and keep on interacting because that make this channel grow, and as the more the channel grows, the more beautiful content that we'll be able to dish up to you. From me now, Hutamaniki indala zombili MTN 8 final angas.
Wow.
We are of here.